welcome back. My name is Susan, this is Light at the Center, and today I'm going to talk about bullying. So in one of the comments I read about the question of bullying. How do we overcome being bullied in our early life? And for some this can be a real huge problem following us up to adulthood. We find it almost impossible to overcome the voices and the actions of our bullies. So what is that about? Okay, brace yourself. The bullies seems like the strongest people in your life because they were the only people who truly saw you. Yep. I guess you never thought about that before. They were the only one who focused with you. They were the only ones who looked into your eyes, who really focused on you and said things that moved you directly to your core. Now this may seem a bit strange at first. What do you mean? They said mean things, they did mean things. Maybe they hurt me, they humiliated me. Yeah, but they were super focused on you, weren't they? They were super focused on you. That's why they impacted you more than anyone else did. But here comes the truth. This is very revealing because everyone can be bullied. There can be giants in your life, tall beings, saying that they're speaking to you, addressing you, and they talk all these big words. They seemingly have the power, they seemingly are huge in your life. And then there is a tiny mouse next to you whispering something to you that just goes straight in. Because it's not about the being or on paper how big it is, it's what gets to you that has the largest impact. And someone can be seemingly big and have a big impact in your life and say nice things to you. And for you it seems like you're not seen and heard. But then someone comes to you and says something mean to you. And for some reason, immediately, you feel seen and heard, validated for the true you. And for that reason alone, that person, that being, becomes super important for you. Because that person validated you. Is it fair? It is what it is. Because it doesn't say anything about that person. It says something about what you perceive as the real you. And here's where it gets a bit sad. For some reason, you identify more with what your bullies said about you than what anyone else said about you. Think about it. For some reason, what they saw in you resonated more than other people's words, the kind words. I said that the case of bullying is relevant to all of us because it's not only you who were bullied who suffer from this. If you want to stop bullies instantly, you can just say, "You're right. I'm guilty. And watch how the attack stops. You're right. I'm deficient. Deficient, though, is not the right way to say. The right thing to say is, yes, you're right, I'm guilty. Because this is not about anyone's deficiencies. This is about guilt. And if you say that, yes, you're right, I'm guilty, not only will the attack stop, the bullies will be afraid. Because you see, the bullies are not any different from you. The only difference between you and the bullies is that they went first on the ball, so to speak, by projecting their own inner guilt, because that is what this is all about, and I will get to that. By projecting this guilt upon you, they can feel a bit less afraid, a bit. Not a lot, a bit. Because they still know they are lying, so just a bit. You can stop bullying bullies by making them feel ashamed, by exposing them. And sometimes we see in these instances when maybe a grown-up, maybe a very stronger kid, someone very safe, right? You have to be very safe and more transparent, makes the bullies feel ashamed and they stop. Because this is all about personal shame and guilt and nothing else. So they were first on the ball. They decided to use you as their point of projecting their own guilt and shame, because they know that you, just as them, have guilt and shame. So when they bully you, they are predicting that you will be feeling shame. You will put your head down, or maybe you would try to retaliate, which causes more shame. Because in the spiritual way of things, and by that I just mean how life is, everyone is you. So if you are hitting someone else, you're really hitting yourself. So that's like a double hit, so to speak, on your shame and guilt. But that's another story. So whatever kind of reaction they get from you, they want to hurt you. They want to take their own shame and guilt and place it upon you. They want you to carry what they are feeling, because they know that you are feeling it just as much as they are. Although they would not bully someone who were without shame and guilt. But few of us are. But they would go to someone who is carrying their shame and guilt a little more closer at hand, so to speak. An easy target. Someone who is already very familiar with their own shame and guilt. Every one of us have it. It's because of the fall. I'm going to talk more about that. But for those of you who have seen my video, The Original Relationship, you can identify with the problem that the woman and the man are facing and what happened with the fall. So you are an easy target because you are closer at admitting that you have shame and guilt. And some other people, some of us, we have such a strong armor, so maybe we are not just as an easy target, but anyone can get to us. Just ask any so-called strong person. Celebrate the strong people. Yeah, but strength is maybe not what people think it is. Just ask any strong person who's been abused by a narcissist. And they tell you that they too have this shame and guilt. So anyone can be bullied, anyone can be trapped, because we all have shame and guilt. The only thing that is different is how well we are at pretending to other people that we're strong and safe, capable, and don't have any such guilt and shame. Maybe we are super popular in society. Look, if everyone adores me, can't be anything like I'm doing wrong. I have to be doing things right, or otherwise people wouldn't like me. What if I'm not doing things right? What if I'm gonna do a mistake? Then people will start hating me. I can't do mistakes. I have to be perfect. Does people still love me? I have to check my social status. Yes. Still have some likes. They still love me. This is insane. And trapped as we are in our own little bubble of guilt, we are not there for each other, and we're definitely not safe for each other. We're all trying to get safety points from the other, pretension points from other people. And if you happen to be the one who got bullied, I'm sorry. You had to take the hit for everyone's internal feeling of shame and guilt. Now, this does just mean that you are more exposed to the wound that every one of us is carrying. You know when Jesus said, "Whoever is not guilty, throw the first stone"? That is kind of very true. You can't say that there is something wrong with other people because it's something wrong with you as well. And therefore, every time we attack someone, we are attacking from a very weak position because we are never in the right to do so. And some of us feel this guilt and shame a bit more present in our consciousness. And those of us who do that, the so-called empaths, we are more prone to be agreeable, to make sure that everyone gets along, because we know we are in no position to be cocky. And then there are, I'm going to say, to be other assholes who are going to pretend that they have it all figured out, you know? Who's going to be like the asshole, so to speak, because they're going to come off as so put together and perfect. But they're really just very good at masking this internal feeling of shame and guilt. Maybe their fall will be harder because of it, because some people, they already live with it. But even the empath can fool themselves to be good and perfect when everything they're really doing is finding their way to compensate for their guilt and shame. Okay, Susan, so what are you saying? Are you saying that this is like biblical things, that we are guilty and full of sin? And what are you saying? No, because no one judged you. That's the whole thing with life. Life is not judging anyone. Life is super good and nice. Give it a try. But we did it. There's no cure for that. Or, I mean, no one outside is going to cure you. You can only cure yourself. We guilted ourselves, so to speak. It's like, I made this example once. I don't know if it was in an English video or in a Swedish video, so anyway, I will give this example once more. Imagine you have a canary bird, a cute little bird, but in a cage, so I don't like that. But you have it at home, and you forget to give it food. Now, the rational way of behaving is to say, "Oh shit, I forgot to feed my bird. I give it lunch now. Sorry, bird, here's your lunch." Problem solved. The dysfunctional way to handle this problem is to say, "Oh shit, I forgot to feed my canary bird. I am such a lousy person for forgetting to feed my bird. I should not live. God, this is, oh God, what are other people going to say? This is horrific." And I forget about the bird. I only think about my own guilt. Right? So I'm not even giving food to the bird now. Instead, I have this emotional reaction about everything that is wrong with me. And I feel ashamed, and I feel like a bad person. And I can imagine how much this bird is suffering. So I forget lunch also. And I forget dinner because I'm still consumed by this. I don't even consider giving food to this bird now is an option, because the bird will look at me now funny and angrily, and maybe the bird will hate me and say, "What's wrong with you? How could you forget to give me food? What's wrong with you?" So now I'm definitely not going to feed the bird. I'm just going to try to pretend that the bird is not there. And eventually this guilt is going to start eating on me, because I can see the bird watching me. And of course I understand somewhere that this bird is suffering. So what do? Do I feed the bird now? I go to work, I try to think about other things. Maybe I go to the pub, maybe I drink alcohol. Maybe I'm trying to do something to distract myself from this guilt. I come home, the bird is there, still watching, and now it's actually started suffering because I haven't fed it, right? So I decide to put it into a wardrobe and close the door and never enter that wardrobe again. Yep. How do you feel what do you think I'm going to be feeling right now? This is the wound we're all carrying, mind you. So obviously I failed to pretend that the bird doesn't exist. Obviously I failed to make my bad conscience go away. I can still feel and empathize that this bird is hungry and probably feels betrayed. I think that it's still angry with me and that everyone is going to hate me. So I'm fearing this confrontation of opening the door and giving it food. So I'm still just hoping that this bird will be fine, even if I don't give it food. I pray and hope that a miracle will happen so that someone saves this bird, but I can't save it. Of course I can save it. But that's what I'm telling myself. That's anxiety. Anxiety is the knowledge that you can do something. But for some psychological reason, you told yourself that you can't, or you just won't do it. So there's something you can do, but you won't do it, and it's causing extremely much pain and suffering, and still you're not doing it. And every day you say it's too late to fix it, but that is wrong. So you continue living your life. Maybe eventually you forget about the bird. Not really, of course, but it becomes more like a pain you get used to, a guilt you get used to. You don't even know why you're guilty anymore, but you are. And you try to hide this for the world. You have to hide the deed that you've done. You're like Cain killing Abel or something. I don't know what I'm doing with these biblical concepts now, but I think I'm associating this guilt trip with the Catholics or the Christianity. But you are like, almost like you're covering a murder. And of course you can never really see the bright sunlight in the sky. You can never really enjoy that nature. You can never really enjoy that relationship. You can never really enjoy that party. You can never really enjoy your own creativity. You can't really ever enjoy yourself or life itself because you are a murderer. Is this unfixable? Because this is what the bully sees in you. The bully sees your guilt. It can sniff it out. Just like a narcissist can sniff it out, even in the strongest person. Even if the person is strong, the game is just more fun. And then you can say, but the bully is mean. And then you can say, but the narcissist is a monster. But deep inside, you are not sure. You are not so sure that they are not right. You're the guilty one, aren't you? It's not about the bullies. It's not about the narcissist. They got you. They saw the real you. They saw the murderer. So now you both love this perpetrator because they are the only one who validated you for your true self as a murderer. You're trying to find loving people on the outside, right? Find the safe people on the outside. Find the people who love you. Yeah, okay. But they don't know the real me. Not like the bully, not like the narcissist. They don't know the real me. So I will never love them. I will never believe a word they say because they are not validating the true me. And the true me is a murderer. I know that. I could never really suppress that. And now, especially when someone finds it out, they called it out. They know. They know. The world will know. So of course I will not be safe with any person because if they know, they will be just like the bully and the narcissist because they will know the truth. So gosh, what do you do now? What is the solution? If all of you watching this now feel the deepest of anxiety, anxiety, depression, and fear, because anxiety is fear. This is the problem of humankind, because you see, it's not only you who are feeling this right now. Everyone who would be listening to this would be feeling the exact same thing. If they're not, they are in denial. And we better just feel it, because what do you think is the solution in the case of the canary bird? Yeah, you guessed right. You have to open that wardrobe. You have to take the bird out. For some reason, it is alive. It will always be alive. And you have to feed it. And you have to feed it and watch its reaction back to you. For all of you who watched the original relationship, and for those of you who haven't watched that video, I'm gonna put it as the link in the end of this video. Watch it. I know sometimes the text goes a bit fast, then just pause it and contemplate. Because that story is this story. This is a story of how the humankind fall. This is how the humankind fell from their original relationship, which was without anxiety, no unfed birds there, into this chaos. The woman, which is not the physical woman as such, so this is not a blame game for who is right, the man or the woman, so don't worry if anyone likes to take things literally, acting like an idiot. The woman stands for the so-called second principle. And when that principle of us, who is supposed to be reflecting the unity, God, when that principle betrays the unity in order for the third principle, the man, to come to the woman, not in order to create a unity, because when the female principle was connected to God, man came to the woman, his mind was enlightened, so he could be the actual principle and do right. Now he comes to the woman, she severed contact with God, because she wanted to experience man coming to only her as a physical body, instead of like a unity. And she had nothing to offer, so he didn't get any wiser. He didn't know how to act. And she didn't want him even to act and explore and be the perfect being. That is the human being, by the way. Man represents the human being. She wanted him to replace God in her life. She wanted him to give her the qualities that she had lost. She wanted him to embrace her and to love her and make her feel something, worthiness, that she couldn't feel herself anymore. And the man was confused. Because before he came to someone who was wiser than him, someone he wanted to earn to be loved by. And by earning, I don't mean doing stupid things in order to have worth. I mean earn as in reflecting in your own eyes the light that she reflected from this unity from God that is all of us. By respecting that, by living up to it. And then she recognized this light in him. And she held him, and she held more light from her, enlightening his mind, wanting him to be the best version of himself, protecting her by honoring her, by being his highest version. Everything was held. But after she severed with God, for some crazy idea, that she felt that, what if he's coming to me not for me, but for God? I want to experience how it is if he comes to me just for me. But she, when she severed from God, had nothing to offer. She had to pretend to have something, and really she needed things from him. So from there, we've lived in this impossible, physical, mortal state where everything is basically dead. We can't create anymore. And still, our inner voice had to lie to us and say that this is reality. Don't believe in this spiritual paradise realm. It doesn't exist. You're not immortal. Who do you think you are? This is all that exists. And I need physical resources. I need things to keep safe because this is who I am. I am a physical body, and you have to love this body because that was the experiment. You have to love this body or I don't have any worth. And then paradise was lost. Instead of saying, shit, I made a mistake. Okay, let's connect back to God. Let's explain to Adam here that I made a mistake. I'm going to try to reconnect again and we're going to fix this, right? Instead, she is covering it, just like we're covering that canary bird. And then we are covering the canary bird and we just hope that people will love us anyways. Right? I feel bad, but a little bit of love can cheer me up. So I go out in the world and hope that I will be loved, never saying anything about the canary bird. And of course, I will never accept anyone's love because I know I'm a murderer. I will not accept anyone's love. I would just take a piece of it at best and pretend at best, but never more than so. Just like this Eve character in this original relationship will never really be safe in this relationship with so-called Adam because she knows in this sense that she's a murderer. She ended their paradise realm. She ended their identity. She ended the capacity for him to feel love. And she ended her own beautiful state. Wisdom, love, knowledge, everything was lost. Still we pretend rather than opening that wardrobe door, feeding that canary bird, not being afraid for your reply. And when you are no longer afraid of that reply, your anxiety will go away. So the bullies are not the problem. They were never the problem. You focused on them because you felt that they addressed the real you. And as soon as you say, you know, guys, you're right, I'm guilty. And I don't have to say back that you're guilty as well. I don't need that. I just need to confess to myself that I'm guilty. Guilt is charged. And then comes the solution, the beautiful solution to this. The opening of the door, the feeding of the canary bird, the end of all anxiety. You know how it ends? We stop attacking. Sometimes it seems like the victim is just that, a victim. But everyone is guilty in this process. We cannot be attacked unless we have attacked first. Let's call it a principle in the universe. Therefore, I often suggest to say these words, just like an experiment, to see if you feel a bit more calm. Because if you feel a bit more calm after saying these words, it indicates something. I am innocent. I have never been separated. I don't attack. I don't judge. Love, acceptance, and forgiveness. If you repeat these words, this sentence, eventually you're gonna feel a bit more calmer. And you know why? Because the reason why we're suffering is because we feel guilty. So by saying, I am innocent, you're actually stating something that is true. Because the whole idea of guilt is to separate, is to sever. Now, this is the truth. You don't have the power to sever anything. You can yell at the nature, it's still gonna stand. You don't have the power to sever me or anyone else. You don't have that power. You were given free will over your own response, meaning you can think whatever you want. You can respond to us in any way you want, but you can't touch this, so to speak. You don't have that power. You have power to heal yourself and be enlightened and be back to your source. You have immense power to do any of that. No one can stop you even. No one has the power to stop you, to heal yourself. No one has. But you can't break something. Meaning leading to that the only thing that you can so-called break is the illusion of breaking yourself. But you also have the power to heal yourself from something that was not for real broken, because if it was for real broken, you wouldn't be able to create. But you can't have the guilt you imagine that you have. Someone that wants to use you wants to convince you that you're having that guilt. They want to make that guilt feel real, more real than it is. So if you are vulnerable to really believe that you can cause damage, and someone who wants to use you is pushing that button, you may have a stronger psychological feeling that will increase your feeling of fear, desperation, and anxiety. But it's just that, it's a scare tactic. So when you affirm, I am innocent, I am innocent, you're gonna feel powerful. Usually if there is a lot of attacks going on, and sometimes it's not even from seemingly physical people, or it can be someone thinking about you, or you can feel it's something energy-wise, and you say, I am innocent, it's not going to be as possible to attack you anymore, is it? So you say, I am innocent. And then you say, I never been separated. Now that one is powerful. Because everything of the hurtful stuff, problems, sickness, anxiety, guilt, attacks, everything, it is layered upon the idea of separation. It needs separation in order to operate. If you say, I never been separated, then you are walking on water. I'm innocent, and I was never separated. It makes you guiltless. It's the same. Being innocent is the same as I was never separated. And as soon as we imagine some kind of separation, we immediately feel guilt. Maybe because that was how the fall started. Maybe because the fall started with a separation, with a severance. We severed the cord. But that's the base of things. So if you say I'm innocent and I've never been separated, it's extremely powerful. And then you follow up by saying, I don't attack. I don't judge. That immediately takes the edge of more separation, because you don't attack. I refuse to attack anymore. I don't attack, and I don't judge. And judge is the action of the brain to, yes, cause separation. Because when we judge, when we say, you are poor, you are rich, you are creating a separation, a division. That is the judgmental things in thoughts. You should not try to lock in your brothers and sisters by calling someone rich or poor or famous or infamous or whatever you're calling them, fat or thin or whatever. Try not to in any way that could suppress them. Try not to do that. Not with yourself and not with other people. Please stay away from that. I know it's super difficult. Instead, try to do something that frees them, like saying everyone can learn. Everyone can love. Saying something that is affirmative and that creates growth, but not something that lessens. Because if you lessen other people, you will be lessened. If you diminish other people's power, your power will be diminished. But if you give them eternal life, everyone can learn, everyone can love, you will get that same power. This is important. It's almost like I was going to say it's secret knowledge. It shouldn't be secret knowledge. It should be everyone's knowledge. It should be common knowledge. And if you continue even further by saying love, acceptance, and forgiveness, meaning love is like sealing the deal. Love is the relationship. It should be referring to the original holy relationship. And acceptance is also the stopping of attacks. Because when we are defending, it means that we are scared. It means that we believe in the separation. So when I say accept, I take the edge of fear. Because now I accept the situation. It means I'm starting to heal the situation. I'm not creating more separation. And then you can end it with forgiveness or understanding, meaning that you're no longer holding this stance, but you are big enough and safe enough to forgive the situation, which includes yourself, not the relationship to a specific person, not the other person. It includes yourself and your thoughts. You are forgiving your division thoughts. That is forgiveness. Do we understand this? It's not an action we forgive. It's not the other person and the relationship between the two of you. It is the thoughts that you have thought that you forgive. It's the division that you created that started in your thoughts that you forgive. So this is the way back. If you do this, a bullet can't hurt you, so to speak. No words can hurt you. And you are harmless to other people. By entering other people, not with a defense, because so many times when we go outside the door, we have our armor up, and that is a form of attack. It causes separation, right? And separation is an attack. And it's also, we are putting these walls up because we have made already a judgment that other people are dangerous or whatever, or that we are not worthy. And if we attack ourselves, we attack other people and vice versa. So we want to try this. You want to try to entering into a group of people with our hands held like this. You don't have to do it physically because maybe people will ask questions like, what are you doing? Is someone carrying arms? But you will metaphorically go into the group like this and you will make a statement. I will not defend myself. I'm not going to defend myself. Nothing scares people more than that, actually. If someone enters a group and would say, I'm not going to defend myself, and are super vulnerable, I think that would scare the living daylights out of people. But you are having that mentality. Because what I find so damn interesting is that some people say, oh, everything, you should be afraid of everything on the outside and you have to protect yourself with this light and the third light. And this is the spiritual people. Maybe the men are saying, oh, weapons, we need weapons to protect ourselves. And that is what is creating the attacks. If you go like this, I have nothing, no more secrets. I have nothing I need defending. And I'm not going to defend myself anymore. There will be no attacks. There will be no attacks. No demon weird energy can attack you then because it can only be layered upon guilt. Yes, it can only live in the separation spaces because that is the energy composition of that weird being. So when you come there completely innocent, that's the truth. And sadly, people don't want to tell you this. Sadly, many people are still gaining something from keeping you afraid and separated. And they are themselves afraid, so they don't know. Maybe they are giving you this advice because they are afraid. I guess that's the most common explanation from people you will encounter, that they are themselves afraid and they're just teaching you what they need to do to feel safe. But it's coming from fear. Can you imagine this? Can you feel what I'm saying? If you would enter into a group of people and say, I'm not going to defend myself, and you're completely going to lay down all your arms and walls, and you're going to stand there radiating, just being live. Can you understand what I'm saying? That no harm can come to you? It is when we are afraid the attack is coming to prove our separation. If you ever encounter this, because I actually brought up this example, and then someone told me that there was going to be a physical fight. I guess they had been out partying, and there was this big guy who's going to attack someone, and he just stood in the middle and saying, "I'm not gonna fight you, but stop." And he just felt completely relaxed and safe, and the attack discontinued. But if we enter into the situation not completely sure, I'm not gonna attack you, but you're still afraid and maybe holding a backup, it's probably gonna be a fight. But if someone is super brave and enters into there without any fear, it's not gonna be an attack. I actually did this when I was a small kid. In school, they always put me forth whenever there was a fighting going on in the schoolyard, especially with some problematic kids who were throwing rocks. They didn't send the grown-up teachers. They sent me because everyone immediately stopped. That mindset that I had then was completely without fear, and I only felt love and understanding. I only saw everyone's hurt. These are the life normal principles that everyone can use, and they operate just the same for everyone. And this is our way home. So if you have been hurt, congratulations. It just means that for you, the wound is more aching and visible. So now you have the perfect opportunity to deal with the inner healing process. For some other people, the wound is still there, but they are trying to suppress it, living with some kind of suppressed anxiety, trying to make it go away, trying to make it to the end, maybe trying to make it through this so-called mortal life. I only have to survive until death, and then I don't have to think about it anymore, right? Because death ends the problems. No, because life never remove any of your so-called tasks or work assignments. You always have to finish them. So you're always looking for a way to get back to life. That's a beautiful story, and you are brave enough to do it, and we are all in this very heartfelt journey together. So that is all for now. Please write your comments and your thought about this matter in the comments. And also come up with more suggestions to what you would like to hear more about from me. So I hope you have a continued wonderful day, and here with you again soon.